Hello, Hosketeers. This is the Hosk speaking. Today we're going to do dialogues. I recently had to do a bit of dialogue work at work, and so I thought whilst I was the master of dialogues, and while I knew about it, I would make a quick video just to sort of go through some of the pain points and just sort of describe how they work and how to do a quick one, because they're a bit like workflows, but apart from different, so they're not that much like workflows. They are, apart from they've got these kind of responses. They're quite individual or peculiar on how they work, and it can take you a little while to get your head around them, to be honest. So let's crack on, and we shall. I'm just going to create a very easy one. So we need to go to solutions first. I use my easy navigate because that is indeed easy. There you go, got one up. So we're going to create one on account. Get a new dialog account. Should remember that really. Simple dialog. That pops up this screen for us, and initially you'll see that you've got it input arguments and variables. I haven't really used those, but you can supply some. Oh, I see. Okay, right. So you could, if it's a child dialogue, you could demand some input variables to be called. So if you called it from another dialogue, you could say, okay, pass me like an entity reference or an int value or a text value, and then you'll use those within this one. So I get that now. You've got these steps. So a bit like a workflow, you've got all these kind of things. Apart from, you've got a stage where you can wrap things in stages, or a page. A page is basically you'll have a next and a back if it's not the first page, and so you have each page, and you can have a number of questions, prompt and responses on each page. So that's what that is. Also, you've got a query CRM data, so you can do a query and then return the kind of results of that query inside the dialog. One thing I mentioned about dialogues is they are you can only run a dialogue on one record. So initially we were looking to sort of update a bunch of records in a dialogue, and sort of do it like a workflow where we'd select like a load of accounts and run the workflows on those. That won't work with a dialogue, so you can only select one account. If you select more than one, it will throw an error complaining that you can only use it on one. You can update multiple records inside a dialogue. But you can only select one record to kind of kick it off. So this is going to be an on-demand. We're going to do this query data first, because this is quite odd to get your head around, to be honest. So in this example, we're going to do a kind of simple. I'm going to select all the accounts and so this is odd. So I'm going to run it on an account, and I'm just going to select all the cases that link to that account. And so even if you have to hard code it to begin with, you have to select a value here before it lets you go here. So I can even show that to you. I don't want to do that. If I can remove this, no. Here we go. So if you've got no variable there, it doesn't let you do it, which is a bit peculiar in a way. because most of the time you won't want a hard-coded variable. You want, so here it's hard-coded it for a little bit, but it allows you to look up now, so you can see that the variable there is a lookup, and then you can just replace it with the account that you select the workflow on. Always give the statement label a useful title, because if you use it later on in the dialog, you'll need this to be, especially if you've got a lot of variables and prompt responses being used, you'll need to kind of specify these so you know which one you actually want to get hold of. So you have to save that. So now that you'll start the dialog and it will go and select some cases. So then what you usually do with these, you have a page. So now I want a new page to run my dialog, and then when you're on the pages, you only have prompt and response. You've got a stage. Starting time, let's do it. All processes has stages. All the steps in the process must be contained in a stage. If you add a stage somewhere other than the beginning of the process, a new stage will be added. Okay, so you can have stages if you wish. I'm not convinced about them yet. So what you can do here, in fact, what we'll do first is that, so the different types of variables you can have response. So you've got a single line, literally a line of text. You've got an option set, radio buttons, an option set pick list. So they're just a slightly different way of displaying the data. If you've got a long list, better to have a pick list than radio buttons, because they'll go right down the page. Multiple lines, bunch of text. You've got date and time, date only, or a lookup. Now the thing that is frustrating with the dialog is that you'll have an option set. So say you want to select something on a case and you want to sort of be able to set that option set, then you'll have to do it in a dialog and recreate all the values in here before you can then pass it off. So you can select them here, select the value, the same sort of int value or the option set, but it just means that if they change, they're not synced up. So if it gets changed in CRM, then you'll have to come in and change your dialog as well. And if there's a big list, it takes ages to type them all in and give them the right values. It's a bit of a pain, that. The dialog is kind of clunky. It's not fluidly easy, to be honest. So perhaps we could set. So if we look at a value in the case, so we're off to the service area. Cases, have they got any drop downs that we can? So we'll set a description. Sounds good. And here you go, you've got origin. So I'm looking for form editor. Temporarily blinded of what I want to do then. So we go there. We want to know origin. Edit this. So what I'm doing here is basically finding the values of this option set. So if I go back to this one I was doing earlier. So here we want to create an option set. We'll do a pick list. This is important. if you select text, integer or float, if you select text, it'll mean that they'll select an option set value and it will pass the text value. So if you put in the int numbers of the option set but select this as text, then you'll have to convert it from text into an int, and it's annoying because once you select it you can't then change it for some reason. And so if you're doing option sets, make sure you select integer, otherwise when you go to pass it into something else like a custom workflow or another workflow, then you're passing an actual string rather than an int value, so you can't then use it to set your option sets. So choose integer, so please select case origin. So here you see already that phone that was 1 in here, I think. Emails 2 and webs 3. So we need to map these up. I have to select that. Okay, well, again, I guess. So response type as option set, integer 2, 3. What's it? Web 1. Email, phone. So I need to change these in order where they're not overlapping. So case origin. So this is the prompt text. This is the text you give to the user. Select case origin, and then a little tooltip. And you can, in this text, you can mention, you can link to any other records in the account entity or related entities or prompts. What are these called? Prompt and responses earlier, or any other kind of field you've used if you've logged this as a yes. That will hopefully save at some point, would be nice. Got these coming all over the shop here. Okay, as you can see, it did actually change. So you can have more than one prompt and response on a page. So we're going to set multi-line case description. So I'm going to update these ones from already existing, but you could use this to create new cases, get some variables, and use those in the creation of a new entity. So it's kind of a good thing. So you could sort of use this to, on account, click create contact, and sort of not only ask for the information you need, but you could also then do cases, like if conditional branches, to then get other data based on some of the answers that are being given. Dialogues are often used in terms of scripts, where a user may like call up someone, a lead perhaps, and they'll have a number of questions they should definitely go through, and perhaps, you know, if they say you have got a budget, then this may go to a different sort of path of questions than if they haven't got a budget. So that's where dialogues would be used traditionally, or usefully, I guess. So we've got 2 pages. We need to go up to the page area and to do another page, and we're going to so here we can do my select cases statement. You can put it here, press OK, and then have the buttons as a pick list, and so you can see now that they can pick. So initially, this is see on Query Data, I didn't understand how it worked at all. But once you put it in the prompt text, it then can. So you can also have some text before it. So we're going to do that, and then from here, so you could like do a condition where saying if the response was web, do something, if it was phone, do something else. So you need to be careful where you're clicking on, because in certain areas you don't get all the options. So now we're going to update. So here I could put my select cases, and I can choose that select case and to update it. And then from here we got our new variables, and we're going to go description, response text, pop, origin, option set value, Bosch. That's good. I'm not sure that's going to work then. Save and close that. And we could like make these cases on hold if we wished, but I think that will suffice. Activate it, baby. So that's activated now, so we'll leave it open in case we muck something up, need to change it. Go back, and we can close this though, and we can close the field. So here we are, so now we can go back to our account. Hidden somewhere in the triple dots. We can start our workflow. Now let's practice with my test. Just wait. Okay, so we can select an origin. So we'll go web, description. So now you see these two prompt response. What are they called? Prompt and response. Okay, so these two are on here. This keeps coming up for some reason whilst you're in a dialogue. You press next and you go on to another page and see here these are the three cases linked to this linked to that account. So I can select that one, missing parts. An interesting thing, you can look at summary. This will tells you it will just go through your choices. You can see what you've done. So we can go to this case now. We can see that it's updated. That's changed to web. So what you can also do is go back. So I could have my choices and go next again. Oh, that one's already been resolved. Okay. So maybe we'd need to change our query there to not choose one that's been resolved. Let's check that one out. Is that what I did first time? Try required service. No, they've both been. Okay, so we'll update that again. Just let's try another one. Not an advanced find. It's a dialogue. It's good stuff. So if you want to go in and change your dialogue, you go in, make it deactivated it as like similar to a workflow. So if we change our query, where status equals active. So you can run it here. So if we did select 2, so if you select 2, actually start dialog disappears. That's just got a slight blindness problem there. So now it's filtering on only the active records, which is good. There you go. So that is a simple dialogue in action for you. One other kind of thing that occurred to me today is that the user said they wanted an alert to come up and to warn them or do something, and I couldn't figure out how to do an alert in a dialogue. So there's no way of popping up a message or any JavaScript that pops up like that. And in the end, actually, Project Manager came with the solution is that you just have a sort of confirmation page saying you've chosen these options, do not continue, have an option, say yes or no. So you don't have the concept of pop-up pages, pop-up alerts or notifications or anything like that, but you just have a new page, and you can have lots of pages for them to sort of step through. So that's how you do that. Right, so there you go. That is a quick dialogue. Hope that helps you.